This is Bishop Dr. Lang saying, welcome to another live broadcast of Premier's Turning Point. Hopefully, everybody is getting all the information you need about what is happening in the world these days, and especially with the coronavirus. We have been kind of doing repeat programs for a few weeks, but we wanted to get back into our live programming and then being able to, get in touch with you and answer any of your issues that may come up online. So we want you just to be very, very, tuned, making sure you're getting all the appropriate information and you're just, being led in the right direction. So we want you to make sure you get on the program. Also, make sure you share with all of your friends and your loved ones so they can join in. Remember, if you have any comments, any questions, you can, either, put them forward either on the Facebook Live or on the YouTube channel, and we'll be more than able to answer those questions for you. Because remember, the purpose of Premier's Turning Point is to give you the needed information, the necessary information, so that you can make educated decisions about various areas of your life. And right now, the area that we're focusing on is basically your health, because we're spending some time and going over. So we wanted to do an update of the issues with the coronavirus today. That's what we're about, and we want you to just please get on, like us on the various media, and also let's get a chance to share with everyone, what is going on, and we want you to enable them to get the information that they need. And I'm just going to spend most of the time today going over, the issues with the coronavirus, and to get everybody in sync with where we are, and get you to kind of get an idea of where we are, where we're heading, where we're going. And so that's really what it is about today. And we want you to make sure you get all the information, you have all the information, and you're getting all the data. Now, the coronavirus is still, quite prevalent. We're still seeing quite a few cases throughout the country and throughout the world. There's, again, as you know, millions. I won't recount all the numbers for you, but there's millions of cases all over. Millions of people have been affected, and we're seeing that it's causing really a major problem in a lot of areas. The point is, we're not over this pandemic as yet. In the US, for example, only about 76% of people have gotten at least one shot. So there's still a lot of outstanding areas where, we know people should still be getting a lot of, a lot more people are still being exposed. We're seeing a lot of issues we're seeing a lot of issues with the vaccine, where people are still holding out and not getting vaccinated. So there's a lot of issues that we're still have to be facing with on a daily basis. So we want you to understand that, it's still everybody's choice. We're not, forcing anybody to get the shot. This is not something that they're doing. But what we're doing, we're letting everybody know the dangers of, number one, getting the actual virus. There's a lot of complications, especially for people who have underlying disease and for people who have chronic medical conditions. They're still faced with a lot of issues that, they're exposed. Then there's those people who, again, we're seeing also some breakthrough. That is, people who have been vaccinated are still getting potentially infected with the virus, even though they have very much milder cases, and therefore they're not as sick. Number one, a lot of them are not being hospitalized, at such a wide basis as the people who are not, been those are people who have been vaccinated. So there's a lot of variations and a lot of things going on. I'll talk a little bit, more in a little bit about some of the data that is going on with, the children vaccines and such alike. But the key point of all of this is we're still not at a place where we can say we are totally over this virus. We're still seeing cases on the rise in some areas. So we're still seeing cases that are very prevalent in some areas. So we're seeing all of that is being seen. So what we want people to understand is that, each person is still responsible, for themselves and making sure they're covered, making sure they're in tune with everything and they're getting vaccines if they so desire. So we're still seeing the where it's necessary for people to be aware, make a conscious decision, get vaccinated or not, and of course getting tested. We see there's various mandates throughout the country. The federal government for U.S. has a mandate that is coming to be soon, and we see that's one of the areas of contention that we see a lot of people are getting still sidetracked because they're like, well, why should I get this? Is it really necessary? And all of that stuff. So there's a lot of things, but there's various mandates that, depending on your job, your position, where you are, depending on the company you work for, a lot of that stuff is coming down the pike. So people have to start making a decision, or some of them have to make a decision whether they're gonna, get the shot or go to work, go to school, and such alike. So there's a lot that people have to, come to bear with. A lot that people have to come to terms with, and then make that decision. So this is why you need that great information. The virus is still prevalent. It still can be passed from person to person. If a person is immunized, they potentially can still be a carrier and pass it to somebody who is not, or somebody who is. We're seeing still a quite more so prevalence right now in the younger age group. We're seeing a lot more, frequency of the virus, and that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, so a lot more of the older people are vaccinated. Number two, some of the younger ones are the ones that are coming in, contact right now. So we say thank God with this today. We have our co-host on with us. So before I ramble on some more, I'm going to let him, chime in, and then we can, go back and forth with some questions. So Overseer, go ahead and just let everybody know that you're here. You're muted, sir. Go. Mhm.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. This is Overseer Franklin Williamson. So glad to be back with Premier Life, Turning Point. So thankful for you, Dr. Lang, for continue on bringing great information to our audience. As Bishop stated, we are looking at the vaccine now for the younger age, the last group that has been authorized to receive this vaccine. And as you know, being a part of the educational system, it has been dear to my heart. And New York City has placed many, many mandates. And we have seen where the unions, we have seen where different agencies have come out directly against the mandate. Some have the option of either taking the vaccine or being tested weekly. Some don't even have that option. Whether you take the vaccine or you pretty much lose your job or go on unpaid leave. So we have seen where the rate of vaccination has increased as a result of the mandate, especially when it's tied to the job. It's tied to whether you get paid or not. So now we have the children, and there is still great hesitancy there, as in everything, every stage, every phase. We opened with this vaccination. So I know there's a lot of questions. I myself have some questions. I told the saints about the talk today, and I do have some questions ready to put on the table for discussion as we go forward with this. So thank you again. Share this, like this, let someone know that we're on and we are discussing the vaccine for ages 5 through 12. Am I right, Doctor? 5 through 12?
Yes,
Yes,
actually 5 through 11, because the
5 through 11.
12-year-olds were approved on the
On the
other
12
group.
through,
So
yes. Okay.
yes, yeah. But it's really a great that we can have the discussion, because I think that people have so many questions still out there. People are concerned. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and let you ask some questions, and I
All
think
right,
that way
sure.
we can make sure we cover everything, and then we'll come back around and make some more general comments. Okay, so you can go
All
ahead with
right.
the question.
All right. One of the question here, a very concerned mother, is about the side effects.
Hmm.
Will my child, especially if they're talking about their girl child, female, will it have a long-term effect with fertility? So they're worried about fertility in the infant's age. So now
Yeah.
5 through 11, the next so years when they start having the menses and decide to get pregnant, how would this affect long term?
Yeah, that's a good question. And from the studies so far, they're not predicting any long-term consequences. However, as with anything, this is not, we have not have any long-term studies. So people are concerned, but from all the studies, short-term that they have done and all the investigation, as a matter of fact, they have really made a push that pregnant women and even breastfeeding mothers should get this. And by the same token, there's don't see there should be any worse effect on the young girls, over time. And again, of course, I can understand the concern, and I think people have to just, by between their faith, their belief, and their knowledge, make a conscious decision whether they're gonna get their young children vaccinated. They have definitely done, short-term safety studies, and from short-term studies, they're not seeing any deleterious effect. They actually have come out and said there's going to be no effect on fertility in general. So that's really been something that has been dear to a lot of people's mind, and therefore it is one of the things that they have specifically addressed and specifically talked about.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Hmm.
The other question about the vaccination for the young age 5 through 11. The flu season, they always taken the flu shot. Um, is there a wait period? Can they take both shots together? What's the recommendation with the flu shot and the vaccination for COVID?
Not a great question, and it's actually very timely. As I said, I have actually been a little bit worried about the flu season, because so many people are also now not wearing masks. Last year we got a little bit reprieve because so many people were wearing the mask, so we did not see such a robust flu season. So they're thinking we may have a robust one this year, especially if less people are in the mask. So with that being said, it's definitely almost the middle of flu season right now. It's encouraged that everybody who wants one should get a flu shot for that protection. And right now, you can get the flu shot and the vaccine at the same time. If you don't get them at the same time, then you're gonna have to wait a couple of weeks to about 2 or 3 weeks between. Same thing, because of course, if your body is already fighting something and something else come along, number one, it may not do as good a fight, and therefore you may not just get as good of immunity produced. So that's why it's recommended that you separate. So and with pretty much, thank God, with this is the same with pretty much all the vaccines. You can get as many as possible on the same day, because your body's going to be in a one big fight. However, if not giving things on the same day, you're going to have to worry about that in between time. So right now, the recommendation is, if you're getting a booster, if you're getting your first shot, your second shot, any of those that are due, it's fine to get those the same day as the flu shot, and that goes for the children as well. They deem that this is probably the better way to go, and actually get a two birds killed with one stone in the same day, more than also dragging it out. And they've not seen any really deleterious effect in getting them both in the same day.
All
Hmm.
right. Part two of the same question. If I get the
Yeah.
shot at the same time, how would
Hmm.
the doctor know the side effects. Is the side effects because I took the COVID shot or the side effects because I took the flu shot? How would the doctor be able to determine the difference?
The side effects are actually similar in some people. So you would not know the difference. And as a matter of fact, side effects, unless it's a severe side effect, really doesn't really matter which one is from per se, because unless you had anaphylaxis, then where you get a major reaction, then really there's nobody's going to say not get your next shot or not get your next flu shot. And even with anaphylaxis, they'll actually just pre-treat you in a hospital and type of setting to get it done. So the side effects was being caused by one or the other is not so much a great issue, being that yes, we expect some side effects. They're similar, so yeah, they may be a little bit worse, but in so doing, and of course, away from the young children, a lot of people have had flu shots before. So if you had any side effects in the past, it's likely you could get them again. So you would kind of have an idea: is this from the flu versus that? But it's not that an important issue as to which thing is actually giving you the effect. So the key point is to focus on getting especially if you're planning to do so, to get immunized as quickly as possible so that you can be protected as quickly as possible, because remember, with everything it takes a couple of weeks for to develop the full immunity. Mm-hmm.
All right,
So,
two more questions.
Sure, keep going.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daughter has asthma, right, and she takes the nebulizer and all that type of other medication. Should she be given the COVID shot, or should I really talk to my primary care physician, or should we just not take it? I mean, what's a recommendation for kids with asthma? And in the same breath, they mention allergies and allergies.
Great question.
So let's get,
great question. So children with asthma, with allergies. Now, as with anything, you want to make sure, of course, they're not allergic to any of the components of any of the shots. All right. For example, they will tell you, for example, the flu shot, if you're allergic to eggs, then you have to make sure talk to your doctor. They may have to pre-treat you because there's some chick embryo. Sometimes they grow up some of these things in. So with everything, I always say talk to your primary doctor. That's always my answer, as my first answer to most everything, because I think, as you understand, also being a primary doctor, that your primary doctor is probably the one who's going to know you the best. Especially if you have had some kind of relationship over a period of time, they're going to know your issues, know what things you are. But in general, there's no contraindications with allergies or even with asthma in getting either one of the shots, the flu shot or the COVID-19 shot. As I said, they would probably watch you a little bit longer, just to make sure there's no reaction. And all of the areas where you are getting shot, they are able to administer any emergency, treatment if that was necessary. All right. So usually, it's not that big of a deal where you have to, say, okay, I can't get this. No, that's not so. Of course, as I said, if you're allergic to any specific components that may be in the shots, then, that's something to be aware of and to know, and again, people with severe allergies, they can actually pre-treat you with medication to prevent an anaphylactic reaction, and you could still be immunized against all the various things that you need to be. And we do that now in general. I mean, if somebody is severely allergic to even a medication or treatment, you can pre-treat them to prevent that, and then being able to continue with the necessary treatment if it's something that is really important and essential. So asthma, allergies. For example, my one daughter has a lot of allergies. She takes allergy medicine every day. She actually had her shots with no problem. She's an adult, but she have them with no problem. I can give you tons of cases where people with asthma allergies are more prone to sometimes some of these different respiratory problems. So therefore, you want to get them immunized if that's your desire. You want to get them covered against both the flu and the COVID-19.
All right. Now, we know more about the vaccine in the older age range. We know 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on is it Pfizer versus Moderna. Is it the
Yes.
same two-shot regimen for the 5 to 11-year-olds?
Yes, it's still a two-shot regimen, and we're not sure yet about whether a booster is going to be needed down the road, but that we will hear about when they have some more time to study it. So with the two-shot regimen, remember with Pfizer and with Moderna, and actually from the studies now, even with the J&J, they're thinking that they're going to end up getting two shots. One probably is going to be a booster, but they are, and they're thinking that actually get more protective, with that kind of. So you may hear some more about that coming down the pike as well. And of course, with all three, right now they're recommended a booster in about 6 to 8 months. I mean, there's different groups that they're pushing the booster for. If you're immunosuppressed, if you have any chronic medical conditions, if you're over 65, if you're a healthcare worker, frontline workers. So it's still quite a few people that is recommended for the booster. And what they're seeing is that some of the immunity is waning off in about 8 months, for both of the major ones, and about for all three. And that's kind of why that is a recommended. Remember, when we were talking about this at an earlier date, we're saying we have to wait and see. And even the natural immunity, if you have had the COVID-19 virus infection, they're seeing where those antibodies are wearing off, are waning over a period of time as well. So the key thing to do is to touch base with your primary care physician, double check if you're in a high risk group and you should, and whether booster is recommended. Um, and also be aware that just about all of them, the immunity seems to wane after a while. So therefore, we're going to have to, be making sure that everybody is kept up to par. Kind of like, as I said, as I've mentioned before, kind of like with the tetanus immunization. From the studies over time, about 10 years, it wears off, wanes off. And that's why the recommendation there for that booster, is just every 10 years. So this is something that they've been studying, doing for a long time. And, so we just have to stay tuned with the science so we understand what's going on. And don't forget, in everything that we're saying, we do not, go against people praying, having faith
Oh
and
yes, oh
believing.
yes,
You need to
definitely.
talk with your maker as well, and making sure that you understand, what is the will of God for you. All right. And for everybody, that plan may be a little bit different. So this is why we do not ostracize anyone who may not want to get vaccinated or have a great reason. But what we're doing, we're giving you the information and to back up the science. And of course, with me particularly, and most of the people that I know, we do believe that medicine has a place in your overall health, and because this is something that God has ordained as well. Okay.
Absolutely. Now,
Mm-hmm.
regarding the young age, we know that their immune system is such that they don't have much of a severe effect if they contract this virus.
Mm-hmm.
Most times they're asymptomatic. Why is there such a big push then if that age group has very least symptoms? Is it the transmittability? Why is there such a strong push?
It's more the transmittability, and also you have to remember, if say we have a lot of unvaccinated younger children, the virus is still going to be to replicate it and have a host where it's going to hang out, and then also with the more time that happens, the more possibility of other variants coming along, more virulent variants, and also remember, even though you may not have symptoms, you're able to pass this virus along to somebody then that may be or not vaccinated, or even vaccinated but is immunosuppressed, that could get a pretty detrimental disease that can lead to death, and then they can also then spread it to other people in the family. So it's kind of like, if you remember, when we talking about herd immunity, there are
Yes.
ways, for herd immunity is either by vaccination or natural people getting the thing. So, but so many people, remember we said if we just gonna let it run loose to wait on herd immunity that way, we're gonna lose millions and millions of lives because by the time before it to pass through, for then everybody who's left to be immune. So that's really the mindset. And remember, even people who are vaccinated can still potentially get infected. So if we have a lot of young unvaccinated children running around, they may only have mild disease, and also some of them do have severe disease too. But in general, they may gonna have a milder disease, but we're then increasing the risk of transmission to the general population, and then to the general household, and then just to the general population.
All right. I think those were the questions that I got fielded. I think
Yeah.
did a great job. I think it's rounded. I still have parents who are somewhat hesitant, and they opt for the mask and they opt for social distancing. But as you said, also the transmissibility. If you have adults at home or someone who has compromised illness, you want to think about not so much you, but so the family, right? In making
Yes.
that decision.
Yeah, and actually remember now, and we had talked about this. My old bend right now is not just thinking about yourself, but
Okay.
thinking about others. And really, I think that's kind of really my mantra right now. It's not necessarily just for me, but it's for others. There's people are out in the community that now, and especially now that we're opening up a lot more areas. You're coming in contact with all kinds of people on a daily basis that you don't know. I mean, and we see everything. There's people who are telling you they're vaccinated and they're not. I mean, I heard that one case in the news the other day. I mean, this was a very prominent person who,
Wow.
will tell people they're vaccinated and they're not. This was in the sports realm. And there are people who got one of their shots and never went back to the other one. So they're saying, "Oh, I'm vaccinated." There are people who basically, are well vaccinated. There are people who are immunocompromised. They are elderly. There are people with a lot of other. So you're mixing up. Now we're mixing with everybody, and all of this is what's going around. So you never know. So the only person you can account for and make any major confident statement about is yourself. Okay, that's the other person you can say, listen, I am vaccinated or not. You're gonna talk about yourself because you're not being with people 24/7, so you don't know. So my thing is to look at everybody still until they tell me that we have a good herd immunity on board. Look at everybody as potentially not vaccinated, potentially immunosuppressed, and therefore I'm looking out for that person. And then in looking out for myself, in turn looking out for that person. But again, don't get us wrong, it's a personal decision, it's a spiritual decision, it's
Yeah.
a integrity decision, it's all of those things. But each person have to make that kind of decision and come around to what you want to do. So I mean, and I know a lot of people are upset with the mandates and all the thing that are around. I'm on the fence a little bit on the mandates. On the one hand, I don't want to think, especially when I think about some of those healthcare workers who, even when they could have stayed home, they went to work when we didn't even have a
Mm.
vaccine, right? And they were there for the system. And because they may have a personal conviction, I'm going to tell them they have to lose their job. I am actually not totally in agreement. I think we should give them an option of testing. And, this is just my opinion. This is mine, but I think we're entitled to our opinion, right? So we should probably give them a chance if they want to do their weekly testing, bi-weekly testing, daily testing, whatever, until they can grab their head around, should I get this vaccine or not? Because I think a lot of people eventually going to get to that point. It's just that they're not
Mm.
there as yet. So I think but at the same token, I can see a business, for example, saying, well, I want everybody vaccinated because if I'm not, I'm going to have this one calling out sick, this one is that, then so what if somebody get all my people infected and then I have to shut down? So we see it's a different levels that I think, people, and you have to almost put yourself in each person's place, to
Right.
kind of get
Right.
a good, because at one point I was like, no, everybody should get it, mandated. But in thinking, just, people have feelings, people have reasons. And I think it's something that we should, work together, for the good. And I think keep the distancing in place, keep precautions in place until we know that, we have a herd immunity on board, and then we can say, okay, everybody, you can just do everything as normal. So, but hey, I think certain countries who have taken a stronger line and just saying, this is it, everybody vaccinated, have done better. So that's why I think certain other countries are now saying, hey, maybe we need some mandates, to try to get a handle on this. Listen, look at Jamaica now. They went to shut down every weekend for a while
Right.
there until now they're getting a little handle on it. So now at least they don't have the no movement weekend. So I think,
Right.
time is gonna tell, and I'm not see how you see the overseer, but that's how I see it right
Yeah.
now. Hmm.
Well, I know given the nature of your job, like you got jobs that are heavily human resource, where you're working
Yes.
shoulder to shoulder, let's say on a factory line, assembly line, um, and you're in constant contact with another person, then I can see where the employers will come up with a mandate. But as you said, I do believe then there should be an option where there is testing option. I know there will be a cost constraint. There may be also a time factor, maybe also logistics factor. There's so many factors in that. Maybe the employer is not ready to take on that additional uh, expense or resource or management of that process. So they may just want to go the route, absolute or no. And maybe they can also think then the resource pool is rich with talent, and that may be a way of getting new talent in. Employers tend to put profits over people. Not all of them, but profits over people. So, but I do subscribe to the thought that yes, we should be given a choice of being vaccinated or being tested, whatever frequency they determine. So therefore, folks will not have to make a choice with either having a job or not. Again, the
Hmm.
mayor of New York City will let you know, and he is not shy in making that statement, that because of the mandates, he has seen a high uptick in how many of the folks are getting the shots in their arms. So he will make it clear mandates work.
Hmm.
Mandates work. All
And I
right.
think a
So
lot of
again, looking, yeah, go ahead. I
And I
think the
think other
data,
people,
right?
no, no, I'll let you come back in, but I think a lot of people actually are of that opinion. And part of me is of that opinion that the mandates actually do work because people by nature is going to do what they want to do and not necessarily think about people and think about everybody else. And that's why I think the mandate has a place in certain areas because, it helps people to say, okay, well, I have to now think about my job. I have to think about my well-being, and what. And I think, but in general, I think we do need a level of choice. Even the Lord gives us a choice. We can choose to act like a devil or live like a child of God. I mean, it's outright, even that, we got a choice, and so
Absolutely.
I think, I hope everybody's taking the choice of the narrow road. But hey, some people are gonna just like the broadness, so, and I think
Yep.
even with this, I think, we need trust. And that's why, not to bring up another whole subject, I'll just hint on it. And so even with the abortion issue, it's not that, people have to understand, it's not that you agree with abortion, but I think people are going to make their choice. And I think,
Yeah.
it's another old discussion which we'll probably tackle as soon as because it's going to be up in the courts pretty soon. So I'm sure we'll be able
Yeah.
we'll address that issue as well then. So, but the bottom line is, at least still in this country, this is not the mark of the beast. We got a choice. You don't have to take it, right? Number one, and there's a lot of other reasons why it's not the mark of the beast. But I think people have to start deciding about look at it with an open mind. Go to the Word, read your Word, pray. But then think about it. The Lord has put so many things in place to help us. So why not take an advantage of it? All right, Overseer, any other points on this? If not, I'm going to let you tell us about anything that's upcoming uh,
Sure.
in
Well,
the area.
one quick point. Yeah, one quick point on this that I don't hear here in the news in the United States, but when you listen to the third world countries, they talk about the vaccine expiring and
Mm-hmm,
going to waste, and not having enough arms or people lined up to take them, so they're running against the clock. I don't
mm-hmm.
know if that's also a motivational factor on this side to say we can't afford to have the vaccines expire and go to waste, so therefore let's create this mandate. No one
Yeah,
has said that on this side, but I've heard it, in Jamaica that hey, the expiration date, the shelf life of these vaccines, and we want to make sure. So let's see how we can get them into arms. So I'm not sure that's a
yeah.
motivational factor.
I am sure it comes into the realm. And the thing is, as the taxpayers, we should be thinking about that too. Because if they, we let a whole bunch go to waste, they're just going to make more. And we're paying for it as
Yeah,
it stands right now.
yeah,
So I think that's something else we need to be aware of. And I think I don't like to waste as it is in general. As a matter of fact, another topic that we have to discuss is this world hunger and how much food we throw away in the U.S. every day.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
not even world hunger. The people down the street are hungry, but we throw away so much food every day. So but
Yeah,
that's another story. But
yeah,
really, we have to think about waste because we're spending billions of dollars on this. We opened up the checkbook. Remember now, we just opened up the checkbook to spend whatever we need to spend on vaccine and the COVID vaccine, and that nobody has closed the checkbook yet. Right? I haven't heard where
no,
the
no.
checkbook that's closed. Well, actually, that's what the insurance companies are waiting for, though. They're waiting for the checkbook close, because then you're going to see they're going to hike up the price and they're going to try to make
Oh
an arm
yes,
and a leg. But that's that's coming too. But
that
but
is
that,
that
but
that is
right now,
definitely coming.
we have the proverbial checkbook that is opened up, and we are paying for this. So don't forget that either. I mean, and therefore, I think we should use it to take advantage. If there's countries that need it, that don't have it, we need to share. This is how I think this all should go down. But you're right. That's definitely another issue that it goes into the mandates and such like. Because if we have it, and we're saying it's something that is probably beneficial. Because even today, I saw studies that even in the children, the rare cases of that heart thing that they've seen,
Yes,
the side effects, the prolonged long term problems with getting the COVID is worse or than that when you think about it,
yes,
because for it's a rare condition where a lot of people, and there's some long term, we can talk about at one point, maybe we'll sum that up. There's a lot of long term complications of having been infected with the COVID virus for children and adults. So this is something to keep in mind, that it's not something though you just go, oh, I get it and I'm over it. Most people are, but there's a good amount of people who have a lot of long. I mean, I'm talking people who have there's joint body things they can't even move after since they've had it. There's the lung issues. There's not a story, but we'll touch on that. All right, sir. Touch on
yeah,
anything that's
yeah.
going on over in New York,
All
and
right,
then I'll
all
touch on
right.
New Jersey.
Yes. A little update what's happening here in the Bronx at Gospel Tabernacle. Many of you may not have known, but we were impacted by the remnants of Hurricane Ida. When Hurricane
Mhm.
Ida came ashore, uh, we had 7 feet of water. I mean, the sewage wasn't strong enough. I mean, cars were just floating by in front of the church. So 7 feet of water came into our basement. So our basement is decimated. And what we are working on is trying to work with FEMA, trying to work with the SBA, Small Business Association, to see if there can be any kind of help. And the process is slow. When you're non for profit, boy, they take you through the cleaners, right? You got to make sure you can present all these documentations and board and so on. So what we have done just to see if the community can chime in and provide some support, we have launched a GoFundMe page, right? And this GoFundMe page has been up, I think, about 20 days now. And thank God, so far, Bishop, we are over 3,400 there in donations. And we set a goal of 55,000. to help to, we have to demolish, and we finished with phase one. Phase two is to re sheet rock our basement, and we are in the process of doing that now. And then from there, painting, and then after painting, then furnishing. So we're trying to get it done at least the 4 clean walls for Thanksgiving, because we have always been feeding the community on Thanksgiving Day hot meals. Last year it was a grab and go. I think it'll be the same, but we want to make sure that we don't shut that down. We have shut down the pantry because we have no place to store the food once it's dropped off. So since September, October, now November, we have not been able to provide that type of support to the community. So if anyone is out there, the GoFundMe, just do a search for Gospel Tabernacle, and the link is GoFundMe.com/F/GTCBX. So GoFundMe.com/F/GTCBX. If they can put it up on the screen so you can see it, very easy to get to. And also what I have done, I've included a video so you can see the actual watermark, 7 feet. And I'm so thankful to God, no lives were lost. No lives were lost. We can replace the boiler. We can replace the water tank. We can replace the refrigerators, but we couldn't replace life. So that's the main thing that we're working on. Again, come Thanksgiving Day on the 25th, that last Thursday in November, we will be serving the community. I'm speaking it. And we already have folks lined up to receive turkey, but we also have a warm, hot meal for you. So if you can, get to the GoFundMe page site and GoFundMe.com/F/GTCBX, Gospel Tabernacle Church Bronx, and whatever you can give, 5 or 10 or 15, there's no too little donation, right? And your donation is fully tax deductible. So we're coming on to the close of the year. If you want to give a sizable deduction, you can write that off on your taxes. We provide you with the EIN number, and you can get that to your accountant, and you will receive the benefit of your contribution. So we thank God for you. In the month of December, we do our end of year program, our Christmas program, and that's always on the 3rd Sunday before Christmas. Then we prepare for our New Year's Eve. Can you believe it? We are in the planning of our New Year's Eve. God has taken us through 2021. God bless you. God bless you, Dr. Lang. Back to you, sir.
Blessings, blessings. We thank God for, preserving you guys, and I know God is able. So we're going to believe with you and see where we can help as well. Amen. And Premier, over in New Jersey, we're having a concert, a gospel concert on November 13th. We're having an in-person concert, so those who want to come along can do so. I'm sure we'll end up streaming it as well, but we're having it in person. Most of the proceeds are going to an orphanage in Kenya that we support, the Mata MATA orphanage. They have about 80 children that they provide everything for, from food, clothing to schooling, because in Kenya, they actually don't get much help from the government. They don't have the resources. So they have to actually come up with resources to send all these 80 children to school. So we've been supporting them over the year and a half, and we want to do some more. And we may actually put up a GoFundMe page for that particular issue. But for right now, we're doing the concert and trying to, so everybody's invited. You're going to be people from all over the place, both live and some virtual. And what we're gonna open up, we can just seat about 150 people. So don't feel bad. Just come on down. It's November 13th at 6 p.m. at 230 Davidson Avenue in Somerset, New Jersey. You can go at pflmi.org and you can see more information. It's also on our Facebook page. You can just see all that information. And we're just excited about doing more for the Lord. And we're going to just keep on working together. Again, Turning Point will keep on bringing you the information that you need so that you can make a educated decision. So we thank God that we could be back live today, and we're planning to see you next week. So everybody just stay sweet in the Lord. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord just overshadow you with his power. And we thank
And
God
Bishop,
again for overseeing. Yes.
Bishop, that's my birthday on the 13th. So
Oh, oh, beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
So we'll have this party. It's the
So
overseer's
I
party.
may pop in virtually just to
That, that,
say
that's
hi.
it. That's it. So the Lord
Yes.
bless you all. God bless you. We'll see you
God bless
guys
you.
next week.
God bless
Blessings,
you. God bless you.
blessings, blessings,
God bless you.
blessings.
Bless
Turning Point family. What an awesome time we just had. To all our first-time guests, we truly appreciate you for joining our live broadcast. We would like to hear from you, so please send us your comments, questions, or testimonies of how this program has impacted your life. Our email address is info@pflmi.org. Finally, if you feel led at any time to give to this ministry, please visit us at pflmi.org and click on the tab for donations. You can also give via Cash App at $PFLMIORG. We're looking forward to meeting with you live on next week's program. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.